I'd like to read some verses in Proverbs written by King Solomon that shows King Solomon was in existence before he was born. I'd first like to give a short background about King Solomon. In the end of his life, he fell away, taking on concubines which were not authorized by God. But in the first part of his life, he was chosen by God to build the temple. And during his lifetime is when the glory of the Lord, the glory of God, filled the house of the temple. So God accepted the temple built by King Solomon, and he was at one time a righteous man. And during the time of his righteousness, in Proverbs 8, I will start with verse, how about 22 in Proverbs 8. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his ways, before his works of old. That would mean that God possessed or knew of King King Solomon before King Solomon was born, hence the works of old. Old meaning ancient times before the days of Solomon. I, meaning King Solomon, was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. Meaning he was appointed by God to do a work before the earth was created. Verse 24. When there were no depths, no oceans, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains, abounding with water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills, was I brought forth. So King Solomon is saying he was brought forth before the mountains existed, meaning before he was born. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest parts of the dust of the world. When he parted the heavens, I was there. So King Solomon is saying before the earth was created and before the heavens were parted, whatever that means, he was there. He was with God in the beginning before the earth was created. That's King Solomon. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth. When he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep. When he gave the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his commandment. When he appointed the foundations of the earth, then I was with him, meaning King Solomon was with God. As one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, meaning before God. So King Solomon is saying he was before God, rejoicing always before God, before the earth was created. So that would be evidence, scriptural evidence of the premortal or antemortal existence of man, which the LDS doctrine teaches. So that shows that LDS doctrine is supported by scripture, and that is only one scripture of many that support the LDS doctrine of premortal earth life existence. Thank you for listening.